Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wow, we're actually live. Took me a while to figure that out.
Good luck, Dan.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Bye, baby. Hey, we got our first viewer. Bear with me. I'm trying to figure out how all this stuff works yet. Okay. Trying to figure out if there's some way to get questions on here or if there's something I need to push yet. All messages visible. Bear with me, guys. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. Took 3 attempts, but we finally got live here. Don't mind all this junk over here. It's been a long season so far. All messages visible. Alrighty. Sorry guys, I'm working on it. Wow, 25 people already. Boy, talk about being in the spotlight now. Now I'm nervous. Boy, I wish I knew if anyone's saying anything yet, because it's nothing's popping up on my phone. Tell you what, let me get my phone here too. Maybe I can see whatever's going on that. Bear with me, guys. We're working on things here. Okay. Let's see. Get on YouTube here. Hey. There we go. I can see the messages here on my phone anyway. There we go. All right. How many traps do I have? Oh boy, I'm probably right around 600 coon traps roughly. Cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Southern Indiana. Wow. Celebrity in your house. There's a heck of a lot more people will be proud of than me, bud. Do watch a little bit of Trapper Jay. Yeah, absolutely. He's actually not too far from me, right there in the, I think, northwest part of Missouri. Hello from Ohio. Legend is live. Far from, bud. Far from. Wow, from Maine. Hey guys, I appreciate you following along with me this year. It's been it's been a season, that's for sure. You know, we're still sitting at 765, I think, right now. But you know, we're gonna get there. It's just right now we're kind of in that mid slump, I guess you'd say. They've abandoned the fields, but they're not rutting yet. It's just kind of a lull. Wow, from East Texas. Man, I got guys from all over the country here. So, you know, right now I spent today, we put up a little bit of fur, if I can move. You can see the little coon right there. Yeah, I put up a few coon this morning. Feels good. Feels good to start putting up fur. I love handling my fur. Deer season was all right. Our group hit 13. A little less than average for us, but, you know, it's fun. I was hoping to get traps out on Monday. That didn't happen. We ended up doing a little bit more hunting. And then Tuesday, I took my boy out deer hunting. He missed a shot at a doe, but it was pretty far out. And, you know, excuse me. You know, he missed, but it's part of it. You know, it was his third shot at a deer ever. So it happens. Yeah, the weather sucks, man. I just need to get cold, and we're not there right now. All the way from Pleasantville, Iowa. I'll tell you what, Alex, you're not far from me, bud. Pennsylvania. Nick, no, we don't have any snow yet, but it's going to transition from pretty good rain right now, and we're going to be in snow. I think about midnight it's supposed to switch over, but then they're talking 3 to 6 inches. And that would be another reason why I didn't put traps out Monday, knowing that this morning I'd have to pull them. And, you know, I hate pulling traps, but it wasn't justified for me to put out a fairly decent line just to pull them in 2 days. When I set traps next week, you know, they're going to be out 8-10 days. I'm going to have a pretty decent line, I think. Aaron from Missouri. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. This isn't easy, you know. And there's, like I said before, guys, there's guys that blow me out of the water for numbers. I know guys not far from here that they're over 2,000 already, and they're about less than 2.5 hours away from me. You know, and those guys, I mean, they're animals, but I do what I can. It's hard to balance the work, the family, and trapping, and it's a very fine line. I definitely have to give my wife props for that. She's definitely a super mom. What kind of stakes do I use? I use all Pogos, 2-inch Pogos, about 18 inches long. That's pretty much everything I use. Prairie City, huh? Wow, that's crazy. That's definitely pretty close to home too, guys. Matter of fact, my sister transferred to school to PCM here when she was younger. So, do I do it for the money? Boy, that's a big question. You know, I'm going to come out ahead for sure. Am I going to get rich? Absolutely not. You know, realistically, if I were to go to my full-time job and just work more hours, it'd probably be pretty similar to pay. But I love doing it. You know, I'm a trapper at heart. I mean, that's just something I've loved to do since I got into it. But, you know, I'm going to make some money, like I've talked about with people. Find the markets. You know, there's more to this than just fur, guys. Everyone thinks, oh, talk to a fur buyer. Oh, this is the prices. No, that's it. It's over. You know, that's all I got. Dig deep, guys. There's other things to be found here. I know of garment makers. I've only searched briefly into it, but there's garment makers. I know of like 3 in Iowa. I've got 2 in Missouri, 2 in Montana, and I've just scratched the surface of it. Yeah, they're not big guys you're going to send off 1,000 coon to, but the guy that wants 20 red fox, or he needs 50 coon to make a blanket, and stuff like that. That's what you got to find, guys. What brand traps do I prefer? I'm a Duke guy through and through. I know a lot of people don't like them, but for the money, they're great for me. I love them. You know, I've never had an issue with anything holding. You know, everything's there. You know, once in a while you'll get a pull out, but I think you'll have that with any branded trap that you use. Can you show us one of your Pogo stakes? Yeah, give me just a second here. Beaver, find the caster. That's your money in caster. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get one of my Pogos. Alright guys, here's my Pogo. I'll back up far enough you can see it. Simply just a washer with a J-hook with a cable attached to it. I run a big loop. Here's dog proof. Compress it right through the loop. Open the loop back up. Bring the bottom of the anchor through. and there you go, trap's attached. And I got a stake puller to pull this out of the ground, but if I don't, you know, I just take the trap right back off, and that's it. You know, take it back off, the anchor stays in the ground if I have to. It's a very, very simple concept. The only bad thing about pogos is they make a mess if you don't separate them when they're going back to the truck. So, what do I use for coon bait? Cat food. That's all I'm using in all my dog proofs. Cat food, guys. How many skunks? I'm over 30, but I didn't really keep track of that. I'm from right here in Iowa, Hudson. You know, I want to touch base too. I had a couple people ask me what got me into trapping. Bit of a story here, so if I don't respond to any comments, go ahead and, you know, comment later. But when I was probably 9 years old, my dad was a big pheasant hunter. We guided bird dogs all across Iowa, and we were down in Creston, Iowa, which is a few hours from here, and there was a kid that was helping us there. He was kind of the bird runner, I guess you'd say. If the hunter shot a bird, they hired him to run and get it. Even though we had pointers and short hairs, they would retrieve them. But this kid was probably 16 years old, and he showed up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, had 3 raccoons in the back of his truck. And I was just blown away by that. I was like, how do you get raccoons? I'd never heard anything about trapping, knew nothing about it. And once I started asking him a little bit about it, he had a small trap line before he got there. Well, I kind of thought about it for a while, and that next summer, I went to the local Coast to Coast, which is just like a farm fleet store, whatever, but I picked up 3 1.5s for 20 bucks. And the next year, I put them way back in the timber behind my dad's house, like it was probably 3/4 of a mile, and I'd walk every day to check this unmodified 1.5 with a wooden cubby with deer meat in the back of it. And I checked it every day for probably 3 weeks, till finally one day I caught a possum. And I was on cloud 9. It took me like 4 hours to skin that possum. Very next year I caught my first coon. And then I started figuring out coon trails on private ground. And about the last 8 years I've been running pretty much road ditches. I hardly touch any private ground. So that was kind of my gateway. It was fun. It definitely got me hooked. Wow, Alaska checking in. That's a long ways from here. How long before I go after the otters? Otters are a hard thing. You know, they don't sit in one spot very long. You know, I'm definitely going to go back there and check it out to see if there's some kind of a denning area they're staying at. But I'm not real optimistic they'll be there. But I'm definitely going to check it out. You know, we're only allowed 3 here in Iowa. I've caught 1 already on accident. But I'll definitely be back to check it out. Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Show my Pogo driver. Yeah, give me just a second. Tips for late season coon trapping. I'll tell you what, I've actually been getting a lot of those. Really, really happy with, you know, making these videos. I'm doing this to try to teach people things that I know that work for me, but I've gotten so much feedback from other trappers and getting advice from them, which is awesome. You know, a lot of people have told me to put in coyote gland lure or kind of a louder bait late season. That's something that I haven't really done. I tend to switch to more of a sweet bait late season, and I did okay with it. But this year I'm definitely going to try using some kind of a coyote gland or a loud lure, even a raccoon gland lure, and I'm going to experiment with it. It's going to be fun for sure. Oh yeah, I know Wayne for sure. Actually, that's one of the guys I was talking about earlier. I'll tell you what, that man has forgot more about raccoon trapping than I will ever know. And I have learned so much from him, not just about raccoons, but just about trapping in general. He's a great guy. Theft? Yeah, I have some theft. It happens. I've had a few videos on it. It's just part of it. I try not to let it get to me. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it bugs me, but you know, it's all factored in. I figure losing 10% every year, no matter what. Total 765. We haven't had trap out for a little bit, but we're gonna start here soon. John, where am I at in Iowa? For safety reasons, I'm not going to answer that question on YouTube. I've already had several death threats to my family and everything else from the antis on this. So hope you understand respectfully. I'm not going to answer that one, but I am from Iowa. We'll say that. So sorry I can't answer that one, man. I've already got so many hate mails. You know, that trapping video I had with the kids, I had someone reply, basically, I will murder your whole family, including those CUN that you took out, which is terrible. They're kids. Why would you say that? But trap coyotes. Yeah, I do, but I'm not a huge coyote trapper. I caught a few on my road line. I'd like to do a late season coyote trapping on the few private ground that I have. I'm not big into it though. I've never been a real big coyote guy. Brought back memories with your dad, huh? That's awesome, man. That's what, you got to make the memories, guys. Whether that's deer hunting, trapping. That's one of the things I love about trapping. You never know what's going to be around that corner. I've caught several bobcat now this year. That otter in a beaver set, which I've never done before. It's fun. It's an adventure, guys, for sure. John, you're from South Central Iowa. Yeah, I know you. I know who you are anyway. Yeah, the threats are bad. I mean, I don't know how, like Trapper J or 330 Maniac, those trappers, they've got way more hate than I do, which, it's something me and my wife have braced for, I guess. I've talked to her about it, and we're okay with where we're at. Just not gonna disclose any more private information than what's already out there. What's the biggest coyote I've ever trapped? Oh, I don't know. I want to say probably 40 pounds. We get some pretty big ones here in Iowa. Not crazy huge, but pretty decent. Any trail scents or cat food? Just cat food, guys. I'm throwing cat food in dog proof, dead center of the trail. Hey, thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate it, man. You can hear me loud and clear. That's good, because I was kind of curious how this was going to go with all the freezers and that walk-in running behind me. You're right, Greg. It's just like Christmas morning, especially that opening day. Opening day of season. Every single day after I set traps, I sit on the tailgate of my truck, I have a beer, have a cigar, and watch that sun go down. I just love being out here, love being out where I am. It's great, it's just glad to be alive, glad to be able to enjoy things like this. My trapping backstory, completely self-taught, Like I said a little bit ago, I saw that kid trapping, and I got intrigued by it. And since then, when I started really raccoon trapping, I started buying DVDs. What got me into road lining for sure was Kyle Katz has a road lining antidotes. I bet you, actually I've watched that movie so many times, there's spots in the DVD that don't run anymore. No joke, I probably watched that 200 times. Great advice. He's mostly footholds and crick systems. He runs a few 220s. But, it teaches you what to look for and what sign to set on. Since then, I've got, another great one with Snare Masters. That one was awesome too, and that's from a guy right here in Iowa. I picked up a lot from that one. And, part of me wanted to do an actual DVD, and I played around with it. But I thought, you know what? Let's just throw it on YouTube. Everybody can see it, free of charge, just something for everybody to enjoy, and hopefully they like what they see anyway. Actually, Michael, Eddie, I was kind of shocked by this. I just got my electric bill the other day, and it's cold here, so I'm not running the air conditioner inside the house there, but it was $280. For 13 deep freezes and that walk-in, I am mighty happy with that. I was really expecting a $600-700 electric bill. Hey, thanks, Casey. I appreciate it. I'm trying to teach everybody that you don't have to be one of these big name trappers to put up numbers. You know, like I said, I have a full-time job, which I did take a few weeks off of work. But if you have the raccoon population and the drive, you are only limited by yourself. You know, and like I said before, I'm very lucky. My wife is very tolerant. You know, we still have our mishaps. You know, it gets tough for her. You know, it wears on her having the kids every weekend by herself. Full-time job for her, full-time mom. She's definitely a super mom for sure. But you know, you're only limiting by yourself, and that's any aspect of trapping or even life in general. You can push yourself more than most people realize. Oh yeah, selling Sheraton. Where do you sell furs these days? There's not many outposts for Groenwald, Bill up in northern Iowa. There's not a whole lot of places right now. Kevin, I have not caught a cinnamon coon. That is one thing that eludes me. I'm looking forward to the day. I caught a white phase coon here. I want to say it was 6 years ago. Threw it in the freezer. Thought this is gonna be. I'm doing a full body mount. It got about March. I went out to the garage. The freezer went bad. I had that and about 40 pounds of deer meat and a couple other furs I just wanted tanned. It was pretty heartbreaking. I shed some tears over that one. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here, Coon Creek, to be able to do the road trapping, and that is a huge advantage. I don't know how guys could put up numbers driving into a field every day. Not saying it can't be done, but I don't know how it's possible. That is a system that I have not figured out, and hopefully I don't have to. It's just, you know, especially when you get mud or wet weather, having to unload a four-wheeler or side-by-side, it'd just be tough. There you go, Shane. Yeah, absolutely. You know, having an amazing wife in your life is huge, especially when you have kids. Drinking that natty. Oh. Brett, I have seen a few with distemper this year. I filmed one of them actually, and I try not to film it too much, which I probably should, to actually kind of show people what really happens to wildlife in nature. But I haven't seen a lot this year, probably 5 or 6. But areas an hour away from me, they're seeing it terrible. I've had guys tell me that they've got 25, 30, 40 just laying around dead in the ditches. It's terrible. Wow, Donald, trapped for a living back in the day. That's awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty tough to make a living at this. I feel like I was born in the wrong generation. But then again, those guys that trapped back in the 70s and early 80s, they'd probably run all over me with the way they worked. I mean, that's just, those guys were goers. Hey, you caught your first bobcat. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Levi. I appreciate it, man. No, it's been a fun season so far, guys. I'm glad I've been able to share it. I've loved the feedback with it. Really, I thought, you know, if I can get 50 people to follow me, maybe 100, and just if I get good footage, maybe someone can learn something. I'm all about teaching the new generation, the youth. I'm 32 years old, and I know of, boy, I'd say 3 trappers that I know of within probably 2 counties in every direction of me. We're a dying breed, unfortunately. There's not many people around doing this anymore. And that's why, you know, if I took those kids trapping, I took them, 2 or 3 days there. And that, it didn't set me back by any means, but I made sure to make the time to show them what this sport is about. You know, to show them the right and ethical way, you know, to dispatch an animal, the right method to setting traps, you know, the safety aspect, you know, and I just wanted to show them show them our heritage, our sport. You know, it's no different than deer hunting or any type of hunting. We got to get the youth out there, guys. We got to spread our knowledge and spread everything we can. You know, spend the time, invest some quality time with some kids. You won't regret it, I promise. How's my year after catching 1,000? Well, Mike, I had 1,082 last year, and you know I'm not. Well, I am behind this year. It's a struggle, but I'm not worried yet. You know, last year, the first day of December, I had 913. You know, and I don't think that's due to population not there. I would put that due to two things. One, this is just a messed up year altogether with coon movement and traveling. Every trapper in the Midwest I've talked to said this has been the weirdest late November, early December coon movement they've ever seen. It's just, even when it was still warm out, hadn't froze up yet, they just weren't moving. It was really weird. I don't know why. I'd moved to fresh ground and set 30 great locations with nobody there previously, and I'd have 4 or 5 coon, which normally that would be 18 to 20. So it's kind of off. And the second thing is, I should have filmed this next year actually, because my crop rotation's off. I actually sat down the other night and figured that out. My crop rotation is probably about a 60-40 or even a 65-35, which means one year I have 65% corn and 35% beans. The next year, that's the opposite. And this year is my mostly bean rotation, which I feel kind of hurts me in a way, especially, you know, with just coon in general. You want that corn. That corn is big, and I actually cut out miles of some of my routes. Like one spot alone, I cut out like 18 miles because it was great last year. I picked up like 65 coon, but it's beans this year, and it's just not a great area. Hey, Logan, 2 traps and caught 2 so far. Hey, keep it up, man. That's awesome. You know, that, go for it. You know, it's a, how do I say it? There's an art to trapping. This isn't, well, with dog proofs, it's not quite as much of an art as it used to be. But, you know, you got 2 traps and you caught 2 animals. I mean, that's 100% in my book. So just, you know, keep learning from people. Keep learning from YouTube. You know, if you want to invest some money in some DVDs, you know, there's plenty of information out there for sure. Kevin wants to know how do I do a super chat with you? I'll tell you what, I have no idea, man. It took my wife about 20 minutes to figure out how to set this all up on her iPad. I am not a computer person by any means. I am terrible at it, actually. That's all my wife and my 14-year-old. He knows a hell of a lot more of this than I do. Nicholas wants to know catch ratio. That's tough. You know, what day are we talking? Are we talking opening day? Because I'd love to have 40 to 50%. It hasn't happened here, but, you know, and just kind of tapers off throughout there. The way I look at it is whatever I catch one day, the following day, figure 50 to 60% of it. The following day, 50 to 60% of the second day, and it'll just taper off. So if you catch 100 coon one day, you're looking at about 60 the next day. You know, you're looking about 35 down to 28. You know, something similar to that. It really tapers off. You got to always be adding fresh steel. Hey, Jim. Yeah, back in the 80s, a big catch was 100. Yeah, I tell you what, there's so many more raccoons now than there was then. You know, you really had to be a true trapper back in those days, because those, you know, my dad always told me, yeah, you never saw a dead raccoon on the road because it was picked up and somebody made 40 bucks off it. Yeah, Greg, I really thought it would too, but I'm pretty impressed by it. Yeah, Coon Creek, I'm working on it. They gotta approve me yet. Ben asked same way to not catch possums. That's I would there is I've well for me anyway, I've had better luck not catching possums with more of a sweet bait. I don't know if that's actually just a coincidence that I do better with that, or if it's actually something that works. But that's what I use. Sweet baits for me, they eliminate. That's why I actually use my ADC job during the summer when I'm catching raccoons. A farmer has house cats around or something, I'll switch to a sweet type bait, and then I don't have to worry about catching any cats or possums or skunks. And that works for me. I haven't really tested out enough to know if it's actually what you'd call like a rule or not, but that works for me. Would I ever strictly be a coyote trapper? No. No, those guys, props to them. They're the man. I can't do that. Wow, Dave, that's a lot. Yeah, 400 muskrats, man. That's awesome. Yeah, Brett, I haven't heard anything about that. I never would have thought of that with the weasels. We don't have well, we have weasels here in southern Iowa, but very few and far between. Matter of fact, the two things on my goal yet to complete my Iowa Slam are a weasel and a gray fox. Some year I plan to make about 75 boxes, put out for weasels and try it. And then I've got actually a pocket of gray fox located now that once the guy's done deer hunting January 10th, I'm going to go in there and boy, if I could film that, that'd be some pretty awesome footage, I think. But yeah, I haven't really heard anything about COVID affecting the weasels anyway. I'm 32 years old, Casey. Started trapping. Yeah, I was about 13, 12 or 13, probably when I really started trapping. I talked about here a little bit ago how I got into it, but I still remember my very first coon I ever caught. I remember my very first beaver I ever caught, which is actually kind of a funny story. My dad picked me up from high school, and last period of high school, I had gym. So it's like, I think it was the week before Christmas actually. He picks me up from school, and I go check this beaver trap, and I am in gym shorts and a cutoff, and it's blowing snow. I run out to this pond about half a mile, and sure enough, there's my very first beaver I've ever caught. I grabbed this 330, ran back to the truck, just freezing my ass off, and I get in the truck and I go to throw the 330 in the back, and it's froze to my hand. I couldn't get it off, so that beaver had to ride in my lap in my dad's truck with the 330 froze in my hand. He was not happy about it, that's for sure. Hey, there you go, one of Nebraska's. Yeah, as soon as you turn 16, which I don't know when you're allowed to drive there, but yeah, get into trapping, man. If you have any issues, message me. I'd be glad to help you out in any way I can. Yeah, Logan. He's buying green furs. He comes around, I think it's only 3 times this year. So he hasn't been around a whole lot this year anyway. How do I get the smell off a skunk before I skin them? I try not to let them spray. I show it, I'll talk about it in a few of my videos. I do a heart-lung dispatch with a 17 caliber air rifle. That seems to drop them pretty quick. It's just like a deer or something. You make a good, clean, ethical shot on them, and you wait. Minute and a half, and they're expired. It's just patience. But they don't spray as long as you don't hit a rib or anything in there. I mean, even if you do, sometimes you're good. But I run about 70% no spray when I heart lung shoot them. Gary, no, I don't cut any glands yet. For my coyotes, I will if I catch any late season, but I haven't yet. Jesse, I snared 3 so far. Pretty slow right now. I expected to have 7 or 8 by now, to be honest with you, but I've only got 3. Not a great coyote trapper, guys. I'm just not. I'm more of a coon trapper for sure. Hey, thanks, Dave. I'm trying. Sorry it took me 3 attempts to get this going, guys, but first time just didn't work out for family. The second time I was all set up, ready, hit the go live button and said, "You must be approved, wait 24 hours." Well, crap. Sorry. Huh, Coon Creek, that's interesting. Slower the bullets go and less chance of spraying. I did not know that, to be honest with you. That's good advice, and you'd definitely be one to know stuff like that. But yeah, I just used a 17 caliber air rifle, 1,200 feet per second, guys. That dispatched every animal that I've trapped this year. Every single one. Coyotes, skunks, I mean everything. Michael, talking about coon gland. I've never done this yet, but you know, by doing this page and sharing this stuff, a lot of guys have reached out to me and they told me to improve late season catch, try some coyote gland lure in your dog proof underneath some bait. I'm assuming, I don't know that, I guess, but and it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. I've had probably 7 or 8 people reach out and tell me that. So it's something I'm going to look into, but then again, I have not done it yet. So, you know, it'll be interesting to try for sure. Tell them to hit the like button. Yeah, go ahead and hit the like button for me, guys. I'd appreciate it. Kevin, I don't have any badgers here. I shouldn't say there's no badgers, but they're in pockets. Very small pockets. I've caught 4 in my life, all of them within about a mile of each other. So very, very limited area. Jesse Walken's doing awesome. I am very thankful to have it because that sucker's pretty full. Oh, you released your skunk, Paul? I bet that was a experience. Hopefully you didn't come home and really make the wife too upset with a little stench to you. Yeah, Dave, I would agree with you. If you shoot a skunk in the head, I would almost say it's above 90%. I've never shot a skunk in the head and have it not spray. I had another guy get a hold of me, reached out and said if you spine shoot them right behind the shoulders, it'll dispatch them without spray. I haven't tried it yet, but you know, it's something definitely, you know, I'm always taking feedback. It's something that definitely I'm going to look into. Any tips for young trappers? Learn your rules, be safe, and learn from anyone that's willing to share information. You know, I don't know what you're trapping or what you're going for, but be a sponge, you know. Always learn. Doesn't matter how old you are, you can learn from anybody. I actually, you know, there's several things I learned from guys that catch 50 to 75 coon a year that I look at and go, wow, that's a pretty good idea. I never thought of that. You know, and you know, we can all learn from each other, guys. It's not a, oh, this is one person you need to listen to. No, we all need to communicate and listen to each other. Hudson, yeah, there's muskrats in creeks, depending on the creek and the depth. You know, there's not a lot of rats around, but you know, there's definitely rats in a lot of creeks, especially your bigger ones that get to 5-6 foot deep, pretty wide. Basically any creek system that has a name to it here in Iowa. How's the thieving? Well, I got a few, but that's it. You know, it is what it is. I have some stuff missing, but I've really learned to just mentally look at it, go, that trap is gone, let's move on, keep pushing forward. If you sit there and stew on it, it's just going to eat you up inside and you're not focusing on what your goal is. Oh, releasing a 5-gallon bucket, that's pretty slick. I like that idea. Alex, oh yeah, I'll hit 3 bobcats quick. Matter of fact, yeah, I got 2 now. Yeah, so I'm down to 1 left. But yeah, there's here in Iowa, especially your lower part, there's so many cats running around. So you're right, Dave. It still makes you mad. It still makes you mad. But hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Gotta drain the main vein. All right, we're back. Yeah, I don't know where the like button's on here, guys. Heck, I know where the like button is on my side when I can hit it, but for you guys, I'm not real sure. Hudson, have I ever trapped muskrats in ponds? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's actually, that's what started me trapping once I got into raccoons and stuff. So, you know, muskrats in ponds, find the 110 runs, you know, or put colonies in them if it's legal in your state. Where are you going, honey?
Sorry.
You okay?
We're good.
Oh no, just bumped my daughter's head off a coyote hanging behind me. I appreciate you guys hitting the like buttons. Apparently my wife is inside watching this feed, so she told me to do less you knows. So sorry guys, I've never done these things, but I'm enjoying it. Wow, 102 people in here. I shouldn't get nervous, right? Have I ever tried marshmallows on my DPs? No, I really haven't. It's a personal thing. I know a lot of guys catch a lot of raccoons with dog proofs, and that I have no objection to that. But for me, it's just so much quicker just using cat food. Just a personal thing. Rain, I'm not worried about. They're gonna go through that wet cat food anyway. For me, anyway. Competition, yeah, I got one guy that he traps quite a bit around me. You know, he's a 300 to 400 coon guy. This year he actually took it off. I did not venture into his territory, I guess you'd call it, but we do run a lot of the same area together. There's 2 or 3 spots where we're in the same area for 2 miles. Real great guy. We work really well together. You know, if he beats me to the area, he dispatches my coon. If I beat him there, I dispatch his. At the end of the day, we call each other, see how each other did. We're very cutthroat. When it comes to pre-staking, we literally have leapfrogged each other trying to set the best spots on those trails before. Very competitive, very cutthroat, but very respectful to each other. Oh, good, Coon Creek. That makes me feel better. I've been told to watch the you knows and ums by other people before, so. Where do I buy my DPs? Pretty much all my traps come from Funky Trap Tags. Right here in Guthrie Center, not far from me, here in Iowa. I deal with Alan there. He's the owner of it. Absolutely amazing family. I see him every year at convention. Him and his wife, great people, always willing. Just, you know, the first time I went there, I met him, but the second year I went there, and his wife was asking me, how's your daughter? You know, my daughter was just born right before the convention. No, yeah, she was almost 1, I guess, at the convention the year before. And she remembered my daughter's name from my convention from last year when I saw her. So they're just great people, very family oriented. All my business pretty much goes through them. If they have it, I'm dealing with them for sure. Yeah, I do a lot of nuisance control, Brett. That's actually a little side job I have during the summer. I shouldn't say I do a lot of it. This whole 2020 has kind of messed that up. Not a lot of people got a hold of me, but you know, I do it. I trap raccoons and groundhogs all summer long for, you know, getting in the attics, trash cans, that type of thing. All right, 420. How many were blue? This is gonna really upset a lot of people here, but here in Iowa on opening day, our 3X coon and up, they're ready to go. They're pretty prime. They're not perfect, but they're a solid 7 or an 8 out of 10. They are a really good coon. Your 2X and below, yeah, they're pretty blue, and they are pretty blue up until about Thanksgiving. But your big coon here in Iowa, even here in central Iowa, they're pretty prime. Are they perfect? No, but they are pretty good. G-Trapper, how many miles? Oh, shoot. This year, opening day was 110, so we had a pretty good jaunt to us, but after that, it's varied. I think at one point we're up to 132 for a route. It kind of got spread out on me a little bit. PCS traps fly? Oh yeah, I've heard of them. I've never dealt with them, but I've heard of them. Caden, black possums, really not. Possums are not much value anyway. Here in Iowa, there's almost as many black ones as there are gray ones anymore. So I think even the gray ones hold better value than a black one, which isn't much to say the least. What tote traps do I use? I'm not sure what you mean by tote traps there, Hudson. Absolutely, no name. You know, everybody needs to attend your state trapping convention. I'm actually really looking forward to next year. The national one is up here in Spencer, which isn't too far from me. So I'll be there for all 3 days of it. But everyone should attend their local trapping convention. Matter of fact, a lot of the hands-on training and knowledge that I've learned has come from my trapping convention, as well as some of the amazing people that are there doing the demos and just picking their brains. You know, I've always attended my trapping convention here in Iowa it's probably been almost 10 years now. And I was the guy that got a hotel room. I went and got my stuff, maybe watched a few demos, and then just went back to the hotel room, didn't talk to anybody. Until a few years ago, I was sitting outside the hotel room having a beer, and this guy pulls up from northwest Iowa. We started talking trapping, which go figure. But later on that night, I was actually in the hotel room, and the phone rang. The hotel phone rang. And I called, and it was this guy. They were over having a fire at the fairgrounds at the convention, and he called me over there. And that's where I went, and I talked to him and what I would call basically the legends of the sport. Basically, it was your guys that really know what they're doing, having a little fire and a powwow, and I was just a sponge. I sat there. I wish I had a pad of paper and a pencil, because I learned so much just by them talking about things amongst themselves. I was just taking it all in. And the conventions are huge for that, guys. If you're a new trapper or even a seasoned trapper, attend your convention. It's a great place to get your supplies for a great discount, generally about 10% off at least, if not more, on all your supplies. But all the people there are just so knowledgeable. And it's amazing what you can learn from demos, and just the conversations you can overhear, you can learn a crazy amount from. Michael, push versus pull. I'm Duke traps everything. I pull all my traps are pull. The reason behind that, they call these dog proofs. They are not dog proof traps, in my opinion. If you have a small enough dog, or any cat, or anything like that, can set these off if their paw is small enough. That's why I use pull only. So you have to have the dexterity that humans have to grab and pull. Otherwise, any small dog or cat will have an issue with it. And I won't say you're going to get in trouble, and they're a great trap. You know, Z traps, they're great too, but just for my personal preference, I use pull only. Just Mert, hey, come on, man, give me a break. I got tore up a couple nights there, more than I care to. Ryan, most of my coyotes, all my coyotes this year have been snares. You know, every one of them's been a snare so far. I'd like to get in some private ground, set some footholds later in the year, but we'll see what happens. Jason, and I did not take lessons from Red, but I have watched some of his demos. I have his DVD, which is the Untold Story, Raccoon Trapping, the Untold Story, I believe. Great video. That's another one I should have mentioned earlier. Red is a guy who made his living off of trapping and is an awesome trapper. I mean, someone that I would love to sit down with a pencil and a pad of paper with and just take notes, because he's a great guy. Brett with the DNR, I deal with them a fair amount, you know, because we have to get the CITES tag for bobcats and otters and stuff like that. So they're out here at my shop. I wouldn't say a lot, but at least probably a couple times a month tagging something for me. As far as my traps go, no. You know, I mean, I'm sure they run across them when they're out driving around, but I don't have much of an issue. The oddest thing I've ever seen on my line. That's a good question. I wouldn't say the oddest thing. I mean, I've seen some weird things. It's more or less the things you find in road ditches. I found everything from syringes to porn DVDs to I actually found a Hello Kitty bucket, a little one from like, I think it was like the early 50s or something. That's actually, I've been told it's worth over $100, but it was just down in a ditch, all wore down, you know. And I'm always seeing, you know, when I'm trapping, it's almost rut season for deer. There's always monster deer bedded alongside the roads that people don't realize probably. They drive right past them. My best otter set? Oh boy. I'm not much of an otter trapper. I have a couple spots that I set every year of pinch points. I actually have, I took the kids there, but I'll have a big creek system here and a little feeder creek here, and it all runs through a culvert right here that's about 2 foot wide. I throw a 330 on both sides of them, and generally I catch 2 otter there every year. That's really about it. I caught 2 of them on fish sticks several years ago, and I haven't got into fish sticks like I like, but I've been told they're really, really good, especially on some good creek systems where there's otter. Actually, a funny story about that. I caught 2 otter and had one of my best friends with me on the trap line, and just yesterday he sent me the picture of the 2 otter I caught with me holding them. I'd lost that picture with my old phone, but he sent me that because my profile thing here on YouTube has me holding that mink, and it made him think of that picture. So pretty happy to see that picture again. That was a cool memory, and that's why we do it, guys. The things you run across, it's an amazing thing. Favorite bait and dog proofs? I'm running cat food. That's it. Nothing more. I think it's like a gourmet something or other cat food. Whatever's the biggest bulk for the cheapest price. You're right, Jess. You know, Coon Creek has some awesome stuff. Definitely someone to watch. He definitely knows what he's doing. I'd highly suggest checking out his stuff too, for sure. Oh yeah, Hudson, I run pocket sets. I used to be really big into water trapping. When I first started, when I got into coon trapping, that's what it was. It was you find water and make pockets. Since then, I've evolved, I guess you'd say. And I'm not saying, don't take this the wrong way, as you can't catch stuff, because pockets, they're the bread and butter of a lot of your 2000 raccoon trappers. But I tend to try to stay on the high dry side of things and catch a decent amount of raccoons on the high trails, the high banks. But pocket sets are great, especially with the multi-species you can catch. You're going to catch anything from otter to muskrat to mink to raccoon. I've even caught coyotes. I think Trapper J caught, I think, 2 now so far just in his pocket sets this year. So pocket sets are an awesome set. If you have water and you have fur and you do them right, they're going to produce. Biggest coon I ever caught, I caught one that was 31 pounds in a live trap in a barn a few years ago. And that sucker couldn't even turn around in the biggest cage trap I have. Hey, thanks, Brett. Yeah, like I said before, kids are our future, guys. You got to get them interested in the sport. Caden, you know, prices are rough, but I'm not sure my fur price right now. I have other markets for everything else on them, but everything will be sold probably by April. Everything I've caught so far will get put up on boards, fleshed and dried, all through the winter months, all the way through February, March, probably be mid-April, maybe even into May before I get everything done and to be sold. Joey, I don't know if I can pause for you to get a bush light or not. I mean, I got one, but you might just have to miss out on a few things, buddy. Actually, Zach, Trapper J told me he's going to get a hold of me, come run a line with me sometime this year, but he hadn't reached out yet. But yeah, I talked to him a little bit, not a whole lot, but you know, he's a trapper, great trapper, pretty decent guy, you know, and he knows what he's doing, you know, for sure. Yeah, Washington County. I don't use cage traps on my road line. That is one thing I'd be concerned with theft. It's one thing to lose a $7 or $8 to $10 trap in the ditch, but to lose a $60, $70 cage trap would be a whole new process for me. I don't know if I could process that one. Hey, thanks, Coon Creek. Appreciate it, buddy. The easiest way to sell fur, probably right now, is to skin and throw in the freezer and sell when you get the chance. You know, pretty much I would say probably 90% of people are just skinning their fur and selling it green. As far as I know, that's about what everybody does. Cade 100, best bait for trapping along a pond. It depends what you're using, man. Are you using footholds? Are you using dog proofs? Footholds, you know, coon love fish. I would strongly recommend a pocket set if you could fit one in. Even if they got a trail along the pond, if it ever dips down into the water and comes out, put a 1.5 right there, blind set it. Phenomenal. And you'll catch mink too, because chances are you got mink on that pond if there's coon there. Dog proof, throw a dog proof on the trail, throw some cat food in it, man. It's that simple. Funny you mentioned that, Shane. I actually, believe it or not, I do eat my muskrat. Talk about the stir fry. I brought a bunch of it to work a few years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Said, hey guys, check out this new stir fry me and my wife made. Brought it in. About 10 people had it. Oh, this is great. This is great. And then I was like, all right, you guys want to know what it was? And the look on their face was, what is this? I was like, oh, it's muskrat. It's great. We had people gagging. It was great, but it's great. It really is good meat. You know, it's tender. They eat vegetation, so it's not like they say actually eating a rat. It's great meat. I always keep it every year. Tyler, I have gone raccoon hunting with dogs. It's just not for me. I get guys do it, and I have no problem with it. But it's just for me. I don't care for it as much. No, just nothing. I'm using straight cat food, guys. Absolutely straight cat food. Yeah, you're right, David, for sure. Nick, I have not called raccoons. That's something my wife actually got me a GoPro last year for Christmas, and I am biting at the bit to try that sucker. I have not done it yet, but man, I think it would be great. I'm looking forward to trying it. Greg, muskrat's a swamp rabbit. Yeah, it's good, guys. I tell you what, I'm gonna grab. I gotta grab that Pogo anchor or driver real quick. Show some people real quick. Be right back. All right, guys. Simple Pogo driver. It's notched out on the ends to fit the anchor. So basically that anchor will slide right in these notches here. And you pull it tight and drive that sucker into the ground. Once it's drove into the ground, you pull and that sucker sits flat. Excellent, excellent anchors. Sorry it took me so long. I can't remember who it was that asked about it and I got sidetracked. But they work awesome. They absolutely work awesome. Yeah, no name. You don't get me running very often. Tell you what, though, I've lost about 10 pounds since November 7th, so that's pretty shocking. Thanks, Joey. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I've been told using the fighting sounds, and everyone. I got a bunch of guys around me that do it, and they love it, and I'm looking forward to trying it. Thanks, no name. Appreciate it, buddy. Dave, my day job, I run a forklift at a food company. So I'm there 10 hours to 11 hours, 4 days a week. So yeah, nice tip, Alex. Use coon and distress calls around brush piles. I'll have to do that. Yeah, Caden, use it. I mean, you got a fox row, man, use it. That's what I'm here for, guys. Share information. You know, just if Caden just picked up that he's got a fox row, he's gonna try calling some coon. Awesome, great, man. Go for it. Caden and I work during the day. To call coon. Yeah, call him during the day. That's what everyone tells me anyway. I've never done it yet, but it tells me to call him during the day. Yeah, Joey, you probably could call him at night. Be a little sketchy if there's no snow and moon, though. I've heard some horror stories of calling coon facing one tree, and all of a sudden you hear something above you, and you look up, and it's coming down your tree. So it'd be an adrenaline rush, to say the least. You know, I'll tell you what, guys. I was talking about my wife earlier, how she's just an absolute super mom. You know, every weekend she takes care of the kids when I'm not here. So I do want to give her a shout out again. And I'll tell you what, if you like my page and like what I'm doing, you know, if you want to show me some support, my wife has actually published a book called The Traveler. If you have, you know, a kid 7 to 13, check out her book on Amazon. You know, this is my one ad here, guys, I guess you could say. She published this here, a couple of years ago now, and I couldn't be prouder of her. You know, she's an awesome mom and found time to publish her own book. So if you get a chance and you want to help us out and you got a kid or a grandkid interested, yeah, order a book on Amazon. Help us out, guys. We'd appreciate it. Joey, you can use lights at night. Oh, yeah. Here they call that spotlighting. You're getting some pretty deep trouble here. Hey, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, man. You know, I appreciate the support. You know, I thought about making this a video, and I actually had some support from some actual trapping places, but then I thought, you know what? Let's put this on YouTube for everybody to view. And I'm not a guy really probably at the level to make a video, but I wanted to show people what I can do and what they can do if they want to. So, you know, I feel that should be free information. We got to spread our knowledge amongst ourselves because, you know, like I said before, we're kind of a dying breed. We need to keep learning, keep expanding, keep sharing. Hey, thanks, Greg. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, you're right, Walker. For sure. Snow definitely helps if the moon's up. You can see, they call that a poacher's moon around here. I think that's when a lot of our big deer get killed around here. Hey, thanks, Stumper. You know, it's just a grind, guys. I can't stress how important it is for people to realize that not just in trapping, but you are capable of doing so much more than you realize. About 5 years ago, I set a goal. I said, before I die, I want to have 1,000 raccoon season. And I think at that year, I think that was my 283 year. And I was like, boy, I'm a little ways off. Yeah, then next year, I think it was just over 400. I'm like, all right, you know, still got a long ways to go. Then it was 512. And then I think it was 714. And I thought, wow, I'm getting close. Then last year I hit 1,082. And then I realized, like, I have so much more push and drive if I really want to do this. There's so much more energy if I push myself. So much more drive. And everybody has that if you push yourself hard enough. This isn't something I just woke up one day and went, yeah, we'll go out and catch 1,000 raccoons. No, I've built this facility, well, a little bit you can see of it, specifically for this 2 years ago. My shop's a 28 by 50 that I built specifically for fur handling and processing. Hey, Wyatt, you caught your first red? That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Yeah, Joey, if you're trapping, yeah, for sure. It's definitely a lot more work. Hey, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, man. I really appreciate the support. Trapping with Jinx, how we doing? Hey, see you, No Name. Hey, that's another guy. You should check out No Name Trapper on YouTube. He's got some pretty cool stuff, too. He's not too far from me. You should check out some of his videos. He actually just caught a red fox in a 220, and it snapped one of his chain links, and he had to run it down. And it sounds like quite an adventure. I wish he'd got that on film, because that'd have definitely been something to watch. Wow, Joe, 81 skunks. That's crazy. I can't find it, Greg. It should be if you Google Jennifer or type in Amazon search of Jennifer Deaver, the Traveler. It should pop right up, I think. The Og, multiple properties. I'm trapping all road ditches, everything. You know, here in Iowa, you can trap 33 feet from the center of the road over or to the power poles. That's my bread and butter. I think I've caught maybe 10 coon outside of the road ditches all year, and that was just the private ground that I took the kids on. Chris, my thoughts on fur prices. It's tough, man. Prices are rough, and we all know that. And that's why I tell people, push yourself, not just in the fur shed and catching fur, but push yourself to find markets. There's so many more markets that are barely tapped out there that most people don't realize. Find yourself a skull market, a penis bone market. You know, there's other things out there, guys. A claw market. As far as the actual fur itself, it's tough. But here's the thing. I'd almost rather have it this bad than to be this equal of that good. 2013, I averaged almost $30 for all my raccoon. And I lost like 37% of my traps or something just crazy. I don't want that again. That was too much, especially with me. You know, I got 500 traps. Losing 37% of them, you know, shoot, I'm up to 170 traps gone. That's a lot. So for me, comfortably, if you could sell a finished raccoon for 12 to 18 to 15 average, somewhere in there, that's perfect for me. That's what I would love to do. You know, if I could get to about $15 average, that'd be perfect. Hey, thanks, Dakota. Appreciate it. Here in Iowa, the road ditches are public. You know, anyone can go out in them. You know, there's no permission needed. It's just like public hunting ground around here. Blaine, the trick to not getting sprayed. Well, first off, don't get too close. I've made that mistake a few times. As a matter of fact, that's probably one of the few times my wife was not allowing me inside the house. Or if I did come inside the house, I was instantly told to leave. But, you know, just walk up to them real subtle. This isn't a... Don't run up there blasting. Just walk up there real subtle. And if you have to, even whistle or do something real soft, kind of talk. And then just do a heart-long dispatch. And most of the time, they don't spray. I'd say 70% of the time, roughly, they don't spray for me. Oh, it's illegal in Indiana? That sucks, Chris. You know, but props to you guys for finding private property. That's you know, that's tough to do. Around here, most of the people have it locked up for deer hunting. They're not letting you in there because most of the ground around here is actually leased out for deer hunting, so you're not able to step foot in that property till January 10th. Wow, 100 foot from the road. Man, you guys are really making me feel how lucky I am to be able to trap the road ditches. Hey, thanks, Jinx. Appreciate it. Yeah, I turkey hunt, Chris. Yep. I try to anyway. I haven't as much as I used to, but I did get out last year and kill a nice bird. You know, actually, Shane, I was just telling my wife that. I said, hey, we're going to go out in the garage tonight after the live, and I'm going to show them how to skin a skunk. And she goes, not with me filming, you're not. But I think with a little sweet talking and maybe some of you guys encouraging her, I'll bet she'd be game for it. Especially if you guys buy some of her books, she'd definitely be game for that then. Yeah, Dave, stay away from the shooting end of a skunk. I won't say this year I've been sprayed, but I've dispatched them and they've sprayed, and the wind caught it just right, and it's been some pretty miserable truck rides, that's for sure. So as you guys know, I'm using mostly dog-proof traps. I would say 75% of my line's dog-proofs. Probably 20% 220s. And then the other 5% is footholds and snares. I don't run a lot. All my snares are made specifically for coyotes. We did catch a few coon in them this year. Caught a few reds in them. Even caught a possum in one this year, which is really weird because it was set like 10 inches off the ground for coyotes, and I caught a possum. So I don't know if that sucker's walking through back legs or what, but that's just crazy. River Valley, I don't wash them after they spray. I should. Here's the thing with them spraying. If they spray, I'm not worried about the fur. But if their tail is down and they're spraying with their tail down and they're kind of sitting in the spray, then I have issues. Then it stinks really bad. But if they actually just spray and it's leaving their body, the actual skunk itself really doesn't have much odor. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is they saw it spray, oh no, it's terrible. Yeah, the grass and all your foliage around it's terrible, but the actual skunk itself isn't really that bad. Favorite dog-proof trap? I run Dukes exclusively. There for a brief time, there was a lady that made the Easy traps. I believe it's the daughter of the guy that made the Z traps, and she made a phenomenal trap. That was an amazing trap. I wish she still had them because they... I love her traps, but when she discontinued them, I had to... When I buy more now, they have to be Duke. For me, anyway. Average price on a skunk? Why? I mean, with everything you can harvest from them, my better ones are going to get me 25, 30 bucks. Hey, there you go, Caden. Awesome. And that's the thing, you know, you caught a bobcat on a chunk of steak fat. That's great, man. You know, keep it up and keep learning, keep improving. You know, it's your second year. You're just starting out. Keep going, man. You know, the sky's the limit. Just keep learning from people. There's so much knowledge out there to be spread. Just be a sponge, man. Soak it all in. River Valley. Yeah, that's tough. When they do generally spray and they sit in it, what I try to do is I'll let them sit for a day. I'll pull them out of the trap, set them off to the side, and I'll let them sit for a day. Generally, at that point, they're good enough I can take them home, and I don't have any issues. Alex, how'd I trap ditches 4 dog proofs? Be honest with you, I didn't. By the time I started road lining, I think I'm 7 years into it now. Yeah, this is my 8th year road lining, and they've had dog proofs out pretty much ever since I started road lining. Hey, Stumper, you know the traps I'm talking about then. Yeah, 420. The NTA convention here in Iowa next year. I've already got my hotel room booked, so I'll be there from Wednesday through Saturday night. Yeah, Joey, I'm on that Trapperman forum from time to time. I personally prefer the IowaTrapperTalk.com. That's just some of the local guys, and there's a lot of knowledge to be spread on there too. Nothing against the Trapperman site. I don't know. I prefer to be more localized, I guess. And a lot of the guys on the Iowa Trapper site, you know, I can put faces with their names versus the actual Trapperman. Kevin, I've never used super stakes. I strictly use Pogos. Not necessarily anything against them by any means, but I know what you're talking about. I just use the Pogos because I got into it a few years ago, and they work awesome for me. I have no reason to go anywhere else with them. I have yet to find a flaw other than the fact that when I'm pulling traps, if I don't separate the stake and the trap, I get a big tangled mess, which is a flaw, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's just, you can't have pros with everything. There's going to be some kind of cons. Chris, yeah, after the season's over, I'm still going to keep it going. You know, next year trapping, I'm going to do some more filming too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But over the summer, I'm not going to have everything going daily, or even it might be a weekly video, maybe a couple a month. But I'll show my trap preparation a little more in depth, probably. Something I've really been planning on doing, I want to do a spring beaver line. I got turned on to that here this last year by a couple of guys that are really, really good at spring beaver trapping, both in southeast Iowa and northwest Iowa. And these guys rack up a pretty amazing amount of beaver. And I learned a lot from them this last year. I set out a small beaver line in the spring, and I think I caught like 18 in 5 days. And for me, beaver trapping, that was awesome. But I learned so much just from them and just by the experience of doing it. I'm thinking about doing some video series next year on taking a week and seeing if we can get 50 beaver in a week or something like that. Nothing crazy, but just something fun. Show my footholds on drowners and snares on drowners. I had a double on snares on drowners last year, which is pretty cool. Joe, I don't think the peroxide and baking soda would hurt the fur any. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Hey, thanks, Walker. Take care, buddy. Yeah, text me tomorrow. Let me know how you guys are doing. Tomahawk traps, huh? I don't blame you. Find what you want, guys. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, River Valley, the problem with doing videos at the convention, you have people's faces in them. And I can't put videos on YouTube with people's faces without their permission. So it's kind of tough to do. All right, Joey Hulker, I'm going to show you something real quick. Here's my trap. Here's my Pogo. Big anchor. Compress. Go through that. Take the anchor back through it. There you go. It's attached. You don't need any split rings. You don't need any J-hooks. Nothing like that. I learned this from Kyle Katz. I believe he's from Indianola. Or not Indianola. Indiana. But awesome, awesome setup. I love it. It works awesome for me. Don't overcomplicate it for sure. Hey, Justnar, that's awesome. Hey, I'll toast with you, buddy. Absolutely. Those subtle trail guys, that's the land trails. Your big coon are using them. I can't stress it enough. I love water trapping. There's a lot of coon in the water. But if you drive past all these cedar trees and these power poles, you are missing so much fur, at least here in Iowa. I have not ever tanned a hide, no. Yeah, actually, David, I have trapped snapping turtles. I do that on some of my nuisance control during the summer. Eli, my total right now is 765. G-Trapper, I haven't had to replace any springs yet. And I've got some of my original dog proofs I bought 12, 14 years ago. So I try to take the best care of my equipment as I can. And as long as you take care of your stuff, it's going to last. It's just like anything else. Yeah, Stumper, I use Pogos on all my traps. Everything except my snares. Snares I use keel poles on, but everything else is Pogos. Everything else. Yep, Flintlock 25. He's from Illinois. Okay. Sorry. I wasn't sure where he's from. I knew he's somewhat close to me. Yeah, Joey, make your loops big, man. That's what, I got all kinds of people. They're like, oh, use quick links, this and that. No, run your big loop. I can't think. It's actually my bench here. I want to say my loop measurement is probably 14 inches where I measure and then loop it back through. And then I know how big to make it. Because this loop on my Pogos will fit all my 1.5s also. I can fit all my 1.5s through here if I have to. Chris, okay? That's a great idea. I should actually try that this year. We do some snapping turtle trapping just for meat also. Not a whole lot of it, but I do like eating some snapper here later in the year. I don't, Caden. I've never predator called with a caller yet. Like I said before, my wife got me that Fox Pro last year, and I've yet to use it. I'm really looking forward to doing it. I just only so much time, man. Right now we're kind of in that lull of trapping, so I'm trying to do some fur handling, get some fur put up. But here pretty quick, I think I'm putting traps out again at next weekend, give or take. Actually, yeah, I'll be probably a week from today is what I'm talking, because we're getting some big snow coming in tonight, and it's gonna dent everything up for a while. But we're supposed to be in the mid 40s by the end of next week, and then we're gonna put some steel out. In the meantime, I got to capitalize on the time I got and start processing fur. You know, we've got, yeah, just shy of 800 coons sitting here that I got to start putting up now. I'd love to have 300 done by January 1st. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'd love to. Yep, Trapper B, absolutely. Kill pulls are awesome for snares. No, Eli, everything I run is Duke, pretty much. Everything. Other than my handmade snares, I got Duke 220s, Duke 1.5s. I even got some Duke 550s this year for coyote trapping, which I haven't used yet. But Duke 1.5s, Duke dog proofs. I mean, that's all I run pretty much. Hey, thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it, man. All right, one on Nebraska's. Have a good one, buddy. You're right, David. That snapping turtle makes some pretty awesome soup. We actually did like a stir fry type thing here last year, and it was pretty good. Doctor Strange, any raccoon recipes? Boy, that is strange, Doctor. I don't personally. I've had raccoon. I've had it barbecued before, and it wasn't bad really. I've also had it a couple other times that it was pretty bad. Not something. I mean, I'll always try if someone wants to share some with me. I'd love to try it again, but it's just not a consistently great thing for me to eat. So, unfortunately, I do not. Tyler, I sell to all kinds of people. You know, I've got garment makers across the Midwest. I've got, oh boy, I've got people that buy skulls from Kansas City to Minnesota to Oklahoma. Got one guy in Georgia. It's, you know, not everything's going, not all my eggs are in one basket, I guess. You know, go out there and find your markets. They're there. Yeah, Eli, I've heard good things about Duke 550s, you know, and a lot of people argue that point. It's kind of like a Chevy Ford thing. What do you like? What do you prefer? It's just, you know, you're going to have people that don't like it no matter what. It's just one of those things. Marinade and moonshine when you're younger. Raccoon meat? Man, that, I'll tell you what, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'd try it. Modify my coyote traps. I don't do any welding on them. I just pay attention. That's primarily my modification. But I'm not a coyote trapper, guys. I'm really not. You know, I've probably in my life, yeah, I'm under 3 figures in my life of coyote trapping. I'd say probably 75 tops in my life. I'm not. I think my best year ever was 13. You know, I'm not a big coyote guy. I'd love to be. Hey, thanks, David. I appreciate it, man. I'm just trying to share my line with everybody, and hopefully people can pick up a thing or two. And I've learned so much from me putting on videos of people's comments and reaching out to me. I've learned so much. Kevin, do a video on flashing. Do you mean fleshing? Because I really don't think anybody wants to see this. Boy, you had it for your uncle and aunt's wedding. Man, yeah, that's different. Man, you guys do things a little differently, I guess. I wouldn't be opposed to it though, man. I mean, I'd try anything for sure, but so some things I really want to focus on that I think I mentioned a little bit ago. I've still got to get a gray fox and a weasel. I've got a pocket of gray fox found. I'm looking forward to hitting after January 10th after guys deer hunting. But weasel, I didn't even know they're in this part of the state until I had a buddy call me. It's been 4 or 5 years ago. And said, "Hey, my grandma's cat's caught a weasel." And I said, "No, dude, that's a rat." "No, it's a weasel." I'm like, "No, guarantee you it's a rat." I showed up and sure as heck, it was a weasel. So then I realized we must have some kind of populations weasels down here. So we're gonna be setting some traps. I don't know when. It's probably not gonna be this year, but I'd love to catch a weasel. I got those two things to complete my Iowa slam, as I'd call it. Hey, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, man. You know, like I said, my wife's book. You know, she supports me 100%, and I gotta support her too. So if you have any kids from, 7 to 12, 13, check out her book on Amazon, The Traveler. It's an awesome adventure. It's the main character, Annabelle. She travels back and forth between two worlds where her mother is and her dad is, and it's a great book. It's an adventure. She has to figure out where she fits in the world and what world she fits in. So I appreciate your guys' support on that. That's awesome. Do I do taxidermy? No, I don't. I actually dabbled with it a little bit in high school. I actually got, I think it was second place in the Iowa State Fair when I was in high school for wood duck mount. I was pretty proud of that. But yeah, ever since then, I just haven't had the time. I'd love to. I got a couple Drake Woodies in the freezer from earlier this year that I want to try to get in taxidermy again, but there's just not enough time in the day. It's too much. Hey, Mighty Muskrat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Oh, Chris, they're gonna keep coming, buddy. We're gonna get back trapping here next week, and it's gonna be some tough trapping, but I'm looking forward to sharing some more. Nick, most raccoons in a day. This year I had 132. 2 years ago I had 134 on opening day. So I was pretty proud of it. Dave, I appreciate it, buddy. It's good, I promise you. You got some kids, they're gonna love it. Found a dead weasel by your deer stand. Man, they're here. I know they're here, but they're so elusive. And I don't know what kind of quantities. I'll bet you there's more bobcat here in Iowa than there is weasels. At least, in the central part of Iowa. There's so many bobcats around. It's just crazy. Chris, look, just search Jennifer Deaver. Jennifer Deaver, the Traveler. It should be in there. How do I recommend a pheasant mount? Yeah, I like the flying pose, but that's me. Oh yeah, Garrett. I've caught a few mink. I'm not a huge water guy like I've shown, but actually my picture of my profile picture is actually me catching a mink this year. We've caught, I think, just 2 this year. Hey, Trapper J. Shots, huh? Oh no, I got beer. I'm good with that. Kevin, video on flashing again. I can do a flashing video, which I just did on raccoons here a couple nights ago. Austin, I have not caught a cinnamon coon yet. Someone asked me that earlier too. I want to. I have not. I caught a white phase one that I ended up losing doing because of a freezer went bad on me. But man, I really, really would look forward to catching one someday. If I do, that sucker's definitely going on the wall. Eli, throw boxes out in the culverts for weasels. Okay. I haven't looked into weasels very much, so that's definitely something I'll have to check out for sure. And that's another thing. I've learned so much from you guys commenting back or messaging me. You know, it kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of new options and techniques that I never would have thought of before. So I'm always happy to learn stuff from you guys. And you know, we got to keep sharing, guys. Share our information with each other. That's how we're gonna keep improving and become better. Uh, Jesse, hand in a 220. I have not caught my hand until this year, actually, but the safeties were on. Luckily, safeties were still on, and I was setting it, and I had the hand on top the dog, but I was adjusting the triggers to the side, and that sucker went off, and it caught me right on the knuckle of my trigger finger, which sucked. But luckily, the safeties were on. I did have a few years ago. This is a pretty bad story, but I caught a coon in a 220 down the road a little bit. Caught another coon in a 220, and I realized my setters weren't with me. And this was when I was younger. I didn't do 220s by hand yet, so I had to backtrack to my first spot. And you know, sure as shit, I looked down the ditch. Oh, there's my 220 setters. Go running down the ditch like an idiot, totally not remembering that there's a 220 set there, and it snapped right across the base of my toes. And that hurt enough, but what hurt worse was as I had enough momentum going down the ditch, I hit the end of the cable, and it whiplashed me into the side of the culvert, messed my shoulder all up. It was a mess. Luckily, I had a buddy with me because the setters were right next to me, but I was in so much pain I couldn't comprehend how to get out of that sucker. So it was definitely a rush, that's for sure. Hey, see you, John. How much watch time for monetized? Oh boy, what is it? 4,000 hours or something like that? Hey, you caught your first mink and otter. That's awesome, Garrett, especially for your second year. That's something impressive. I'm not sure where you're from, but you know, certain parts of the world or the country, there's not a whole lot of otters. Some spots there is, but either way, catching an otter, that's a big accomplishment. Not many people can say they did that on their second year. Near poultry farms for weasels, huh? I like that. Absolutely, Flintlock 25. Like you said, support, you know, your local trappers, especially the National Trapper Association. We are struggling, guys, as a whole. Trappers, I hate to say it, but we're kind of on the downhill slide of the number of us and our say in the political world. You know, we're kind of losing to the antis a little bit. They're starting to come out ahead a little bit. There's a lot of states starting to lose some ground, lose some rights. You know, Canadian goose, they're done making coyote coats next year because of PETA. Look at California, which they're completely shut out from any type of trapping. There's several states losing their conibear rights. You know, we got to keep getting people into this, guys, because we're struggling, honestly, as trappers. And I hate to say it, but we truly are losing the numbers that we used to have. You got your thumb in a 220, Andrew? Yeah, that's rough. That hurts, I'm sure. You know, we all got to keep doing our part, guys. We got to keep trapping, you know, keep those populations under control. There is distemper around, like I talked about a little bit earlier. You know, and I've heard other parts of the state right now are really bad. Really bad. I actually, not trapped, but not trapped live, but I think I've got 2 coon and 220s this year that were very sick. I've seen several others either sick or dead. I even filmed one once, going to a den area. It was skinny, just bones. It was so sick. T-shirt idea, huh? I've been playing around with the idea of getting a Iowa Trapper T-shirt or a hoodie to wear around at the NTA this year. Yeah, Trapper J, you're right. You know, prices are terrible. It's tough to get people into it. You know, it's. I kind of try to view it as deer hunting. You know, the money isn't always there, but the sport of it is. We gotta keep promoting our sport. You know, Yeah, deer hunting, you're not going to make any money out of it either, but it's the thrill of a chase, thrill of a sport, and that's what I hope we can end up getting to. It's just, but yeah, everybody obviously likes to make money off this if they can, for sure. And there's money to be made if people know what they're doing and know what to look for and know where to go. It's just, it's difficult. Tyler, I've only had one beer and a rum and coke, so pretty sober. I won't be getting too torn up tonight. We're already at over an hour and a half, so probably gonna have to shut this thing down right about 2 hours because I still gotta get my daughter to bed. You know, I still got a family to take care of, guys, and that's why I try to show on this is I still got a family, I still got a job, and I'm still gonna shoot for 1,000 coon. It's tough, and the balance is so tricky. Like I said before, my wife, absolutely superwoman. She, you know, there's times, you know, where you can tell it she's frustrated or flustered, but she's had the kids every weekend, every day by herself pretty much for a long time, and I don't blame her. So she's absolutely an angel for taking care of the kids and take care of all the house stuff as much as she does. And I can't complain at all, but I still got to go in and do what I can, be a dad, be a husband, have a job. You know, I've several people now have messaged me. That's what started this whole thing. I had so many people when I caught 1,000 coon last year, 1,082. People got a hold of me and said, wow, it must be nice to not have a job, or wow, it must be nice to be single. I have both. I have a wife and kids and have a full-time job. And I think that's what really motivated me to do this, is to show people that you can do this with both. You just have to push yourself way harder than most people realize. Georgia Assassin, hey, good luck on your first year, bud. Hope you're doing all right. Garrett, all I'm going to say is I live in Iowa. I've already had enough death threats to the family and stuff. After talking to my wife, I choose not to disclose my exact location to very many people, especially publicly. It's just a safety thing, you know. Not that I'm really too concerned, but why throw out my exact location for all the people that comment things like, I hope you die, you effing cunt, stuff like that. And I got plenty of that. Matter of fact, they started calling the kids I took trapping, stuff like that, here a little while ago. And you know, it's one thing to come after me and call me whatever. When you call a bunch of 9, 10 to 12-year-old kids that stuff, that don't fly well with me. So this is my first live stream, Trapper J. This is the third attempt. The first time I had some family stuff come up. Second time I tried it and they said I had 24 hours to be approved for it. Yeah, Andrew, when it's, you know, if you can justify it, and everyone has different justification. Some people, they're okay with not making a dime. Other people want their gas money. Other people have a certain amount per animal they want. You know, I won't, this is all I'll say about my line. When everything's said and done, I'm going to be $8 to $10 a raccoon. Right now, as we sit, I think my gas bill driving was $4.72. You know, and I've got like $96 in bait, so $5.68 or something like that. I'm gonna come out ahead. You know, I'm definitely gonna come out ahead. But at the same time, what is it worth my hourly wage of skinning and fleshing and everything else? So I love doing it though, so I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, even if I'm only making a few dollars an hour, if you love doing it and you're getting paid slightly for it, I'd call that a win myself. I'm sure you're right, Trapper J. I'm sure the death threats get worse. You of all people would know. You and 330 Maniac and Coon Creek, you guys, I can't imagine what you guys have. Trapper B, when the rut kicks in, do I snare more? No, I do not snare raccoons intentionally at all. All my snares are made specifically for canines. But I do catch a few incidentals. I am going to try doing some more gland lure. I've had a lot of people recommend that since making these videos for late season. Even using coyote gland lure for late season and dog proof. So we're going to try that. Hey, thanks, Dan. Yeah, Trapper J, I'll be there, man. I got a hotel room booked already from. I think I'm there Tuesday night. Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday night. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. Tyler, do I fish? Yeah, I like to do some fishing. Most of my summer is consumed either by work or doing my side jobs. I also do some roof and siding jobs during the summer on the side. Most of my fishing, I would say, though, is just throwing a crawler on the bottom and seeing what happens while drinking a few beers. That's pretty much it. There you go, Trapper J. Yeah, get a booth. I'm sure you'd have quite a few people stop and pick your brain for sure. All right, Nick. So that's a touchy issue. How far do I have to be from a house set of dog proof? This is something I don't like about Iowa that honestly I wish they would be more strict on. Legally in Iowa, in the country, I can set a number 2 coil spring in the ditch in your front yard where you mow, which I think is very wrong in my opinion. I know I'm sure I'll get some backlash for that. But anything non-conibear or snare related, I can set in your front ditch as long as it's in the road right away. I wish they'd push all of that, at least the foothold traps, back to probably go with conibears and snares at 200 yards. My personal thoughts, because when prices come up, you get what I would call the people up to no good or don't know what they're doing come out and they think, hey, let's go trap some raccoons. I've never raccoon trapped. Let's grab all these traps and set all these coon trails I see. And next thing you know, you get people's dogs being caught in bad spots. They put 330s in fences. But anyway, that's sidetracked from the question. But, you know, I should not be able to put a number 2 coil spring in your front yard, especially if you have dogs, because I'm going to catch your dog. My personal preference, I wish they'd, limit the coil springs, but it is what it is. Dog proofs, I'm not worried about it. If I come up to an area, I'll set actually a ditch that's 50 yards from a house, but I'll switch my bait to a sweet bait, a bait that I know is unattractive to cats and dogs. You're more likely to catch a cat or a dog in a dog proof using cat food like I do versus sweet bait. Sweet bait only raccoons mostly are attracted to. At least in my situations, that's my experience. Wade, use fish for my bait. If I use fish at all, it's because I'm water trapping. That means I got pocket sets out there, and I have ran a very small handful of pockets this year. Very small. I'm leaning more towards making fish stick sets, which is basically just a T-post, a fish speared on it. In Iowa, you can have exposed bait, so I'll put either a paper plate or some grass wadded up above it. And I've caught a couple otters doing that before, several coon, a few mink. I meant to get to that more this year. I just didn't get around to it. Wow, 220 yards away in South Dakota. That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. You're right, Flintlock, absolutely. And that's the thing too, Trapper J. I get a lot of that. I've had several people stop me now in the road ditches, come up and just lay into me. This is my ground, you didn't ask me permission, this and that. Legally, I don't have to. With a line that I'm running, I don't ask permission at all. And the guys that stop me, yeah, they can get mad all they want. I'm perfectly legal, and I know what I'm doing ethically. I'm not going to catch their cat or dog. I'm not worried about it, especially close to houses. I switch my bait. I've had guys, actually a guy not too far from here just laid into me last year, really good. Said, I run up and down this road every day with my dog, and I have dog-proof traps in there. I was probably 300 yards from his house, and he just laid into me. You're going to catch my dog. And it's like, respectfully, sir, I've trapped this road for like 7 years now, every single year. And if you didn't know I was here before, you know, obviously I didn't catch any of your animals. So it's one of those things. I don't actually ask permission on the roads because my line is so extensive. If I started doing that, I would knock on 100 doors, and I just don't have the time. Joey, apples and marshmallows to avoid cats and dogs. Really? That's interesting. I did not know that. Austin possums, I don't. Most of the possums I catch in dog proofs, I release, and I'm sure I'll get some hell for that too. I do not believe in killing anything unless I'm going to use it. Later in the season, when my coon numbers die down, I start keeping possums because I can keep up with skinning possums as well as coon. But early season, when I'm hitting 50, 40, 30, 70 coon, I'm releasing them because I just personally don't believe in killing an animal if I'm not going to use any part of it. It's just a personal thing. It's just how I am. Gummy lifesavers. That's not a bad idea. And you know, it's one of those things, guys. There are so many things. Like, I know marshmallows catch raccoons. Gummy lifesavers. I never thought of that, but that's a pretty good idea too. If for me, you know, when I'm running 280 traps, it's so quick and easy for me to take cat food, hold my hand in the cone over that dog proof, pour it in, and gone. You know, a bag of cat food lasts me 800-900 sets. I mean, it's just ridiculous for 18 bucks. It's just so fast and effective, and it's just what I prefer to do, really. I'm always looking for advice, and keep sending them, guys. You guys have ideas to improve dog proof catches. But it's kind of a process, because I've tried marshmallows before. I've never tried the gummies, but I've tried marshmallows and stuff like that. You know, spear a sardine on the trigger. And when I had, you know, 40 or 50 traps out, absolutely, that'd be great. But when I'm running as big as I am, it's too time consuming, and time is definitely something I'm short of. So hold on, guys, gotta step outside real quick. Got so many furs hanging around here, it's kind of crazy. Orange slices, candy spears. Yeah, I can see that, Trapper Jay. Probably wouldn't have the mice problem that I do, for sure. Stumper, hardest part's not eating them yourself. I'll tell you what, when I first started trapping with 1.5s and crick systems, I used jack mackerel for my bait. And it would so gross out my dad. I'd take that can, I'd scoop out a big old chunk of fish, shove in back the pocket, take another scoop, put in my mouth. Oh, it'd gross my dad out. He'd start gagging and everything. It was so fun. But that's the memories, you know. That's why we do this stuff. The memories that I have from trapping. You know, I've caught an otter with my son before. My dad was with me when we've caught some awesome stuff. You know, that's why we do it. You know, the memories that you can make. You know, take a kid out. I actually, the kids I took out here this year, a couple days later, one of their moms texted me and said they can't stop talking about it. It's like, that right there made my season a success. From whatever else happens, whether I hit 1,000 or not, taking those boys out and seeing the light in their eyes with trapping, it made it all worth it. Trapper B, big marshmallow under the trigger with camel ice cream syrup on top and down the sides. I mean, it sounds like it would work. It's just too complicated for me, man. It just, it might be something I try late season if it starts switching, if maybe sweeter stuff works later in the year, because I've had success with that. But it's so easy for me, guys, to just literally grab this thing, and if it's set, just cone my hand around it and just pour, and that's it. And I have that sucker heaping. I mean, there's dog food, cat food, I should say, all over the ground. I mean, and that's my personal preference. Everyone says fill it up to the trigger. I love it completely full. That's just me, though. Wade, I've heard of stuff like that. I've never actually used it, though. Alex, why are they hanging fur out? These are coyotes. Your coyotes are always fur out when you go to sell them. Over here, if you look, all the raccoon, they're fur in. All your raccoon are fur in. The only thing that's fur out is fox, coyote, bobcats, and badger, I believe. Everything else should be fur in. From mink, rats, raccoon, otter, everything else should be fur in. Cool. It's a pain. It can be. I really don't let light rain bug me, because those traps will still catch raccoons. Whether that cat food is soaking wet or not, they're still gonna eat it. They're animal opportunity. They're gonna eat it no matter what. You're right, Stumper. Corn cob on top of your DP works pretty good. One thing I started trying this year, and I need to pay attention to results better, is since I trap the road ditches, if I have problems with mice, I grab a rock that just barely kind of long and oblong, that sits down inside the dog proof just a little bit, and no mice is strong enough to pull it out, but the coon should be able to pull it out no problem. I started doing that this year, but I haven't actually paid attention to what spots I did that with and which ones I didn't, see if it improved or not. Austin, I don't paint anything. I dip everything in Formula 1. It seems to work pretty good for me. All my 220s, which I only do once about every 3 or 4 years, but all my dog proofs and all my 1.5s get it every year. RFS Outdoors, yeah. I've heard a lot of people are using the fish pellets. And that's something absolutely I'd be willing to look into that. It's hard for me to stray away from the cat food, but I've heard several people say that. I think it was a little more expensive than my cat food last I looked, but I've heard people have great success with it, and by all means, stick with it, man. If it's producing for you, absolutely go for it. Oh, Eli, the camera I use, I can't even think of what it is now. A Panasonic something. My wife got it for me for my birthday this year. It's like $700, and I'm pretty nervous with it out on the line. That's why you notice when it's raining or something, I'm taking a lot of footage from inside the truck, because I could not ruin that. She spent a lot of money on that for me, and I'm going to take good care of it, or at least as good as you can take care of something on the trap line, which isn't real great. Yeah, you know what? RFS, that might be something I look into late season when they start rutting. I've heard the more fishy, stronger baits are better late season. I do fairly decent late season for what they call the zombie coon when everything's rutting. But it's definitely something to look into, something I need to check out for sure. My walk-in freezer, I actually got a pretty good score on it. I had to drive to central Illinois to get it, but it's 10 by 10 by 8, and it ran me $2,500, which is a score considering it was only 3 years old. Brand new, I think they're like 10, 12 grand. Oh yeah, Flintlock 25 for sure. I keep all the essence too. I've got, oh shoot, I'm not sure how many pods I got in the freezer. I still got to extract the essence on, but I've probably done 20 or 25 of the skunks now, and I've got, I want to say 8 to 10 ounces of essence. I'm just learning it this year, so I'm pretty new at it. But yeah, I've tried injecting them a couple years ago. It did not work for me at all. I'm not sure if it's something I was doing wrong or the stuff I was using, but I did terrible with it. I've gone just heart lung shooting them with a 17, give it a couple minutes, and they're just sound asleep, ready to go. No spray, no nothing. I'd say 70 to 80% of the time, roughly. Once in a while, if you hit the shoulder blade or something, they might, but even then, they're not using all their spray. There's still plenty of essence left in there. Hey, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate liking the fur handling video. I'm looking into doing more. I told the wife I want to do a skunk video after tonight, but she wasn't too thrilled or enticed by that idea, considering I got her out here with the smell of fat and fur drying and everything else. It's pretty impressive to begin with. But if I can, I'm looking at doing more videos, maybe doing a beaver video. I'd like to do a skunk. Maybe a muskrat, you know, just a few different things of all my fur handling. The coon one covered the basics, I'd say. You know, it's, especially with flushing and drying, it's all about that angle and the pressure on that blade for sure. You're right, Eli, for sure. And yeah, I tried the acetone thing. It did not work for me. I still had him alive there like 8 hours later. It just did not work for me. Yeah, Stumper, I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying you can preset them, you know, compress them, and a lot of people put PVC in there. Personally, I don't have a problem after the DPs and everything this year. That first day was pretty rough. My hands were pretty sore, but I got through that pretty good. And then I think just muscle memory kicked in and just getting in a little better shape than I was to begin with. I don't personally have a problem with setting them. You know, like dog proofs here, they're pretty simple for me. I do have a few that, you know, I struggle with, but one thing I notice a lot is a lot of times I'll get this jaw bent, or this dog bent pretty good. This new trap too, I need to clean this off. That's something else to think about too, guys. So I just dipped all these traps. I've got a whole box full of new ones yet that haven't been set this year. If you look right here, it's gummed up a little bit. This is a mistake I made this year. I did not clean that off. So a lot of times when I set these traps the first day, a lot of them would fire off on themselves because this little gummed up spot fired the trap, or it wouldn't set because of this. Next year going forward, when I dye them, I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff cleaned off, file it off, so I can just walk in, boom, done. Just that simple. Because this year I had to stop once I realized what was happening by like the third, fourth location. I'm like, damn, I'm sitting there cleaning it all off with my finger, trying to get all this crap off. And I love this dye that I use, but it just, you got to get that dog clean and square. Wade, how close do I get? I would say 10 foot, maybe, somewhere close to that. Okay, Flintlock, yeah, that's good information. You might be right. I bought the stuff at a convention and thought it was going to be the big money, and it just did not work for me. So it's something I'm definitely willing to try again, you know, especially if it's that quick and that ethical. Absolutely. Do I not have to wax with Formula One? Depends what you're doing. Formula One is for all my coon traps for me. I also do use it on my snares, though. I dilute part of it more. I'll dip all my traps in Formula One with recommended dose, and I'll generally dip them twice every year. When I'm done with it, I'll double the water that was in it, so I really dilute it, and I dip all my snares in it. And then once that dries with one coat, I put a full metal jacket on it, and that really works well. It slickens them up. It makes everything quick and speedy again. But yeah, for all my coon traps, all I'm doing is dye. I'm not waxing anything. I would really suggest not waxing your 220s. That can get you in a pinch, quite literally. Say hi to your brother, Briar Fitch. I guess I don't know him, bud. Eli, what kind of Garmin or GPS am I using? I'm using a Garmin E-Trek. Joey, I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I run the Garmin E-Trek. Very simple, very easy to use. You know, and I use it for about everything, trapping wise. I've got 2 of them now, and they're definitely my lifesaver. Oh man, guys, tell you what, I'm ready to start finishing some fur again. Finishing those 10 coon today. It got me back in the zone. I love seeing coon like that. As a matter of fact, I'll go get one, bring one down here. Just tell me that doesn't look nice. There's so much pride that goes into finishing your own fur. I mean, it's so much fun. It's work, don't get me wrong, guys, but I'll tell you, when you start finishing your own fur, you look up at it when it's all dried and come off the board, you're going to love it. I mean, it's so much pride, and you're going to, especially years like this when the market's down, you know, if you're going to make any money at all, you've already spent the money running the traps on gas, investing all that money. Now all you got is time. You know, what's your time worth? Probably not as much as you get out of a raccoon pelt, but, you know, it's you're going to make some money at least. It's a little better than what you would just off skin fur, but there's so much pride in doing this, guys. I recommend if you ever get time or the money to start finishing some fur. Wade, I've never boiled my traps. Not absolutely not like it's a bad thing. I just never have. I know a lot of guys do it, especially for coyotes, but I've just never done that. Everything I've done is cold dip, either with gas or water base, but recently everything I use is water base. Yep, absolutely, flintlock. Everything I got is pull only. Every single one. Hey, thanks, Joey, David. Appreciate it. You know, there's a lot of pride that I have in putting up fur. There's so many things that can go wrong with it outside of your control, but when you finally find that one that's absolutely perfect and you don't mess it up, man, it makes you feel good. I'll promise you that. Yep, RFS, that's what I'm talking about. Zeps is the I just talked about it, not Formula One, but the wax that I was talking about. That's what I use with my snares. The full metal jacket. Yep, that's basically the same thing. Flintlock, I actually buy my boards from Scott Welsh. He's actually up in Northeast Iowa. I'm hoping he's going to be at the NTA convention, but that's where I get all my boards from. Another awesome family here locally in Iowa that just great to deal with. His wife makes signs on boards. Just an awesome, awesome family. Wade, I don't use any of the coon fleshings. I do have a guy that got a hold of me. He wants all my skunk fat because he can make a coyote bait that's just phenomenal, I guess. Which I'm not a huge coyote trapper, but you know, I'll absolutely take some. So I'm gonna get him some of the skunk scrapings and make some coyote bait. Split it with him 50-50, and it sounds like a good deal for me because that just gets pitched. So might as well. Absolutely, David. Yeah, everything I do is local as I can, guys. You know, I'm not a huge coyote trapper, but when I do, I do my best to support Backwater Baits. He's not that far from here. Has some great coyote stuff. All my muskrat lure comes from him. It recently was high quality lure. I think it still is. He bought out the business here a couple years ago, but amazing muskrat lure. I don't use lure much for coon, although I am going to look into it more this year for late season. But he has some phenomenal coyote baits, and it's local to my area. And I think if you're going to catch something in your area, get a bait that's made in your area. I think that actually has more of an appeal because it's made more with the ingredients of stuff that's local to your coyotes too. Just my opinion. I might be wrong on that, but you know, I strongly support him, and I also support Funky Trap Tags. You know, like I talked about here, just a little bit ago. They are just a great family people. You can't beat someone like that at the convention. Like I said, his wife remembered me the next year after just talking to her briefly. You know, they're great people. Alan and his wife are just they ship things out quick, and they're very personable, and that's what I love about Iowa. You know, everybody takes care of everybody. They're just great people here. Okay, Flintlock, that's good to know. I did not know that didn't freeze as fast in cold weather. That's interesting. David, what are skunks worth? Just depends. My good ones, with everything I harvest off them, I'm probably looking at close to $25-30. Spicer Outdoors, absolutely. Backwater's got some good stuff for sure. I'm not sure if my board guy has a website or not. He kind of does it on the side. He owns a lumber mill, but he makes some really awesome boards. Tell you what, just get a hold of me through Facebook or something, and we'll work something out. I'll see if I can't get you his number. I'll get a hold of him first, make sure he wants, you know, okay with me sharing his contact information, phone number and stuff. But yeah, make some phenomenal boards. I've got over 100 of them now from him. They're awesome. Oh yeah, everybody's got opinion, David, for sure. So I'll tell you what, guys, this has been a success. I feel good about what we talked about and some stuff. But like I said before, my family always comes first. It's about 9:30. I'm gonna go inside, spend another half hour or so with the wife and kids before they go to bed, and you know, spend some time with the family, because that's you know, always gonna be what's number one to me. So didn't get much time with them tonight. We went out to dinner and stuff, but other than that, came right out here, tried to focus on figuring out this whole live thing. But tell you what, if you guys want me to do a live thing later on in the year, let me know. I'd love to hear it, guys. I've loved the feedback I've got so far. You guys, you know, I've learned so much from you guys. I hope you guys are picking up a thing or two from me, whether it's my fleshing or skinning or trap locations. But I told you before, you need the three things. You need the raccoon population, the equipment to trap, and the hardest things to drive. Find that drive. Dig deep. If you know, I got a feeling here next week when I get my line out, if I get the line I want out, I'm going to be leaving at 1:30 at 2 o'clock in the morning. There are going to be some very long days. And I'll probably do that for a week, but I'm hoping to get up to 15, 20 a day. If that works out for a week, you know, there's another 100 coon. But, you know, if I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to bed till at least 10:30. That's going to be some really rough times. But I just got to push hard, dig deep, figure things out. You know, it is what it is. Hey, thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you want a lot more lives, I'll do what I can. You know, it's tough to do with a family and such, but I'd be happy to. Absolutely. I love answering questions. I love getting some feedback, too, of ideas and techniques. And I'm looking forward to trying some for sure. David, my wife's book, it just get on Amazon and look, The Traveler. If you type in Jennifer Deaver, The Traveler, I think it should pop up pretty good. So, if not, you know, I'm not a computer person, so trying to share a link and stuff I'm not real familiar with. But anyway, you know, she is definitely the heart and soul of all this. She's the one that is the super mom, takes care of the kids when I'm out on the line. You know, my daughter's 4, and she is every bit of a handful. My boy just turned 14, and he helps out a lot, especially, you know, because my wife's writing her second book. She's going to school full-time. She's got a full-time job and dealing with the kids all while I'm out having fun. So definite props to her. If you get a chance to order her book, I'd really appreciate it, you know, with our family. So hey, thanks, Joey. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, look me up in the NTA convention. If you see this gorgeous mug running around, stop, say hi. I'll be there. Thanks, River Valley. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Joey. Brandon, I appreciate it. Chip, I appreciate it. Tell you what, you guys all take care, and we'll do another live feed soon, but we're gonna be trapping next week. I'm biting at the bit, ready to go again. I'm getting antsy. I haven't gone this long in the season without setting traps, but just time and weather and everything else has been kind of plagued me here. But we're gonna get back at it. We're gonna hammer it out, and we're gonna hit that 1,000 coon, guys. So one way or another, come hell or high water, we're gonna hit it because I've got the drive, and I'm gonna do it no matter what. Or die trying. Hopefully not actually die trying, but my wife might be a little pissed about that until she gets the life insurance check. But anyway, guys, until next time, thank you. I appreciate all the support.